The Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Thongchanh Manixay, has told the National Assembly or NA that the government plans to massively cut the intake of new civil servants in 2023 to reduce the number of excessive state employees and the related financial burden.
คณะประธานที่เคารพนับถือบรรดาท่านสมาชิกสภาแห่งชาติที่นับถือ
The government plans to massively cut the intake of new civil servants in 2023 to reduce the number of excessive state employees and the related financial burden, a minister has told the National Assembly or NA. Addressing the ongoing fourth ordinary session of the National Assembly recently, the government asked lawmakers to consider and approve the plan to curtail recruitment.
ภายหลังที่ท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีในเส้นขอตกลงแบ่งปันโควตารัฐกร
According to the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Thongchanh Manixay, the slimmer quota means it was impossible to recruit all the volunteers and contracted staff who have waited for many years to the limited positions available in state departments. He was responding to a question raised by members of the National Assembly about the government's plans to recruit the volunteers.
ต่อกับเรียกงานคะแนนการภายในพวกข้าพเจ้าขอชี้แจงเนาะ
Reports have emerged that many volunteers, mostly teaching and providing healthcare services in remote communities, were not recruited despite serving for years. Worse, those whose age reached the 35-year limit for new civil servants have had to give up the hope of being recruited by the government.
ในจำนวนอาสาสมัครทั้งหมดปัจจุบันทั่วประเทศมี 15,826 คน
Currently, there are so many as 15,826 volunteers serving state departments nationwide, much higher than the annual quota of the total. Some 7,379 are volunteer teachers and 5,228 volunteer medical staff.
ภายในมีแจ้งการแนะนำละเอียดในแต่ละปีว่าควรจะเฮ็ดแนวใดตามระเบียบการขั้นตอนแนวใด
It is impossible to recruit all these volunteers, the minister said. Over the years, many state departments have accepted contracted staff and volunteers by saying there is a need for more workers. But statistics suggested that Laos has a greater proportion of civil servants than other countries in the region. Dr. Thongchanh said that adopting more volunteers to serve in state departments in the current situations would be unlawful, given that there is no law regulating a situation wherein the volunteers work without a specific official payment. In the case of contracted staff, the government has prohibited state departments from accepting such staff since 2004 in line with the Prime Ministerial Decree number 110 issued that year. However, many departments continue to accept contracted staff. The government also has a policy in place to reward contributions by volunteers and contracted staff, which includes suggesting that the state departments give priority to qualified volunteers and contracted staff when it comes to recruiting new civil servants. But there have been cases where such volunteers were not recruited. Instead, someone else was taken, the minister said, a clear reference to the practice of nepotism. It is a real phenomenon. You may see this in your constituencies, the ministers admitted to the lawmakers. The cut intake of new civil servants comes at a time when the government is downsizing the state organizational structure. As many as 1,140 state departments and units at various levels have been dissolved over the past few years, according to the minister.
รัฐบาลได้เสนอสภาแห่งชาติพิจารณาตัวเลขราษฎรใหม่ทั้งหมดมีเพียง 800 คน
If approved, just 800 new civil servants will be recruited for jobs in state departments next year, a drop of 400 positions when compared to the figure for this year. In recent years, the government has cut annual quota for recruiting civil servants. It dropped from 1,300 new civil servants approved in 2022 to 1,600 in 2021 and 2,000 in 2020.